So, what if I told you that one single habit could completely rewrite your life story? We're about to dive into the incredible power of waking up before the sun and how it can literally be the spark for a total transformation.
We've all been there, right? You make this promise to yourself. Tomorrow, I'm getting up early, I'm going to be productive. But then that alarm goes off and you just hit snooze. That feeling of a missed opportunity, of starting the day already behind, well, that feeling can quietly shape your entire life.
And that exact feeling is the perfect way to introduce the story of a man named Thomas, a man who was completely trapped in a cycle he just couldn't seem to break out of. Thomas worked from 8 p.m. until the sun came up. And yeah, the pay barely covered his rent, but the real cost was this feeling of being totally stuck, like he was watching the world from behind glass, just exhausted and completely unseen. Think about this for a second. As Thomas was heading home to his dark, quiet apartment, the rest of the world was just waking up. Families were having breakfast, parents were taking their kids to school. This wasn't just a different schedule. It was this deep, profound sense of being totally and completely alone. And every single day, this was the question just echoing in his mind. It's that quiet, desperate question, isn't it? The one so many of us have asked ourselves when we feel trapped by our circumstances. But for Thomas, this despair wasn't going to last forever. A single, dramatic event was about to happen that would become the catalyst for a massive shift in his life. This was it. This was the moment everything changed. Standing outside that clinic at dawn, watching the sky slowly get lighter, something inside him just snapped. It wasn't sadness anymore. It was this fierce, burning determination to change his destiny. And then, a chance encounter that would set everything in motion. On the bus, he meets this successful businessman, Mr. Chin. Thomas, still reeling from the news about his mother, just had to ask, "What are you doing up so early?" And Mr. Chin's answer was the key that would unlock everything. He said, "I own my mornings. It's the only time of day that is truly mine." And this was the piece of advice that hit Thomas like a lightning bolt. The hours between 5 and 7 a.m. are where lives are rebuilt. See, it wasn't about losing sleep. It was about finally gaining a life. So, with this new perspective, Thomas started his journey. But let's be real, this was no fairy tale transformation. It was a straight-up battle. I mean, seriously, this was not easy. Waking up at 5 a.m. when his body was programmed to be deep asleep, it was a physical and mental war. Every single morning, he wanted to quit. So he had to reframe the whole thing. It wasn't a punishment anymore. It became a purposeful practice. And here's why this works so well. In those early hours, your willpower is at its absolute peak, right? Before the 1,000 tiny decisions of the day just wear you down. Your mind is clear, the world is quiet. You can get into a state of deep focus that's almost impossible once the emails and notifications start blowing up your phone. And the results? Whoa, they were staggering. In the first month, his mind, which had been so foggy from exhaustion, was suddenly sharp and focused. Month 2, his confidence, which was totally shattered, was now soaring as he was learning new skills. And by the end of just 90 days, his entire life had transformed. A new job, double the salary, and a future he could actually be excited about. 1 year. That's all it took. 1 year of just showing up for himself every single morning. And in that year, Thomas didn't just change his job or his bank account, he changed who he was. He found stability, purpose, and a sense of pride he'd never, ever known, all because of that one simple decision to wake up at 5 a.m. And this is what he finally realized. He kept waking up at 5 a.m., not because he had to anymore, but because he wanted to. The habit itself, that daily practice of showing up for himself, that became the real reward. So Thomas's incredible story brings us to a challenge for you. This is the key takeaway right here. It's not about luck or talent. It's about taking control of those quiet, distraction-free hours when your mind is at its sharpest and your discipline is at its strongest. If you can win the morning, you can win the day. So, here's your blueprint for change. It's simple, but it takes commitment. First, set that alarm tonight. Second, choose one skill, just one, that you want to build. Third, protect your sleep. You have to go to bed earlier. And finally, for the next 90 days, just be consistent. That right there is the secret ingredient. Ultimately, it all comes down to this. The person you want to become is already awake. They're waiting for you on the other side of that alarm clock. The only question left is, are you going to be there to meet them?